Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss chapters 50 and 51.
50 and 51!
Guys, so much to talk about. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. So we took last week off, and I guess Kitty thought that we were reading both 50 and 51 for this recording session, and that was not the case. So I had only read 50, she has read 50 and 51. But the crazy thing was, I had gone to Kitty at the start of this session, and I was like, hey, 50 is pretty short. Why don't we just read it? And then we got to recording this, and I took a quick look at the page count for 51, and I was like, hey, Kitty, why don't we just read both this week? Because they're both short. So she knows it, and it's a half a blind for me. Yay. But Dorkus, what else is there to talk about? What did you do in your 2-week absence? Well, other Dorkus, let me tell you, I re-listened to the audiobook for Way of Kings up to chapter 50 twice. Once to actually pay attention to, and one for white noise while I'm doing other things. And I had a few more predictions I wanted to throw into the log that I forgot to mention last time, and I had a handful of observations, having listened at such a fast pace.
Okay, so I'm ready.
In no particular order, bouncing between prediction and just observation, Gavilar, at his assassination, gave Szeth a black sphere that seemed to take in light. And we know that Shallan saw a sea of spheres in a somewhat blackish world. So I made that connection this week. I thought that was worth noting. What do you think, Kitty?
Yeah, that is highly notable.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means, but it's, keep it in mind is essentially what I'm taking.
Maybe someone took one of those spheres from Shadesmar to the real world or something, maybe. Roshar.
Yeah.
One of my predictions will be that Shen will wake up, whatever that means. He will cease to be a lobotomite at some point in the story. I don't know about if it happens in this book or not, but at some point in the story.
Yeah, we made that we did think of that in our last episode. We did talk about that.
Odium reigns, most dangerous of all the 16. We didn't remember when we recorded that episode that there was an epigraph that said the phrase 3 of 16 remain. So I just wanted to remind you of that, Kitty. So it's not the first time we've heard the 16.
It was the first time we remembered. The
Yes.
first time we forgot. I mean, yeah.
Continuing to work with the Jesus-Kaladin comparison, and knowing that the Radiants had a power to heal people, I wondered if Kaladin will heal Gaz's eye at some point. I don't know that that's going to happen, but it is possible.
He'll heal someone.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a healer, but yes, yeah.
I had 2 interesting observations. I've found that I really don't like Lirin all that much. The things he does, the standard he holds everyone to, his refusal to move despite the danger he put himself and his family in, I just kind of don't like him.
It's pride. It's actual pride that is keeping him, that put his family in danger.
Yeah. And the other observation was, Shallan isn't clever. She's just mean.
Okay, she's just mean. I think she's clever and mean. She's not stupid.
I'm not saying she's stupid. It's just half of her insults are like just veiled opposites. You have a mouth on
Yeah.
you sometimes. What, you mean I don't other times? Oh, you're
Yeah.
so pretty
Mm.
today. What, you mean I'm not pretty on other days? That's not wit.
So she's
That's
not
just,
that smart.
yeah.
She just has something to say all the time.
Yeah.
She doesn't have wit's wit.
Yeah, I think Wit was much more clever in
Mm.
his insults. There was a lot of focus, I realized, on Dalinar's choice to become the administrative state, if you will. He's filled a lot of Elikar's government with his people, and he protects the camps. I don't think you want to undervalue the role that the bureaucracy, or the power that being in control of that bureaucracy can lend him, particularly if it's overlooked by the more would-be war-savvy folks.
Yeah, it's still power.
Yeah, it's a, what's the phrase? Soft power, so to speak?
It's harder than normal soft power.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's medium power.
one of our previous predictions was that the geometry men are recording the death rattles. I was reminded one of the epigraphs wrote one of our own ardents when recording a death rattle. So it's possible that the geometry men are linked to the ardents in some way. Maybe?
It's possible. Yeah. It's a possibility. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah. I remember that we both wondered if Hesina is a dark-eyed Light Eyes.
Mm.
I was reminded that Shallan's dad had something weird going on with maps in his room, so we needed some sort of answer to that at some point. We've got the Wit cut the strap prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm predicting that the Parshendi shardbearer that Dalinar saw off in the distance was Clade, specifically. The earlier Carbronth chapters, I was thinking, you know what? The Palanaeum is sounding a lot like the Library of Alexandria. And then I was reminded that there was an epigraph somewhat recently, actually, that mentioned the first firing of the original Palanaeum, or something to that effect. So I am predicting either the destruction of the Palanaeum or the destruction of Carbronth. One or the both will happen.
In this book, no, or just in the series?
In the series. I don't know about in the book, but certainly in the series. I remembered our reaction to the title chapter Strawberry and noting it about Shinovar being basically Earth. And then I chuckled when I was reminded that Dalinar ate chicken in a previous chapter, and we didn't have that connection there. We obviously, it's stated directly, one of the strange Shinovar birds or something to that effect, but I don't think I thought of Shinovar as Earth at that point.
Yeah.
Thadakar. We still don't know a single thing about him except for the fact that he was the first person Gavilar thought hired the assassin.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything else about this house or any of it.
Yeah. Not one thing. And then I finally heard Harietium in the audiobook, and I hate it. He pronounced it Harietyum. And I'm like,
Harietium?
Harietyum. I hate it. Harietium sounds so much better to my ear, but that's fine.
Listen, we call him Sazed instead of Sazed.
This is true. And that's all of my observations and predictions that I wrote this week.
That's a lot.
Kitty, you called it.
I called it about the... See, I think I got the reason I thought we had recorded is because I rarely call things. So when I read a note that says you called it, it's like, whoa, you know?
Sure.
So I'm like, we had a whole discussion about me calling it. That's incredible.
Yes. And I feel the vindication. I did not trust Cabsaw.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Yes. Shall we get into the chapter?
Yes.
Chapter 50, Backbreaker Powder. Flame and char, skin so terrible, eyes like pits of blackness. A quote from the Iliad probably needs no reference notation, but this comes from line 482, should I need to locate it quickly.
Hmm.
Flame,
and
char,
skin
fire.
so terrible.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, we've got the usual. Eyes like pits of blackness, not delicious new.
Probably not, no.
Mm.
The Iliad.
Giving me Iliad vibes, but anyway, never mind.
That's what I thought.
Mm.
Shalon awoke in a small white room. She sat up feeling oddly healthy. Bright sunlight illuminated the window's gossamer white shades bursting through the cloth and into the room. Shalon frowned, shaking her muddled head. She felt as if she should be burned toes to ears, her skin flaking off, but that was just a memory. She had the cut on her arm, but otherwise she felt perfectly well. And this far in, I was so excited to be back with Shalon because I had to know what happened after the end of that cliffhanger chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I got nothing there other than that she was purified.
Yeah, and but it really did burn when that occurred, and it's quite fun that we just had flame and char, skin so terrible. We had that description, and now we just get the idea that she's actually she feels like she should have that skin so terrible, flame and char. She should feel that way.
Yep. A rustling sound. She turned to see a nurse hurrying away down a white hallway outside. The woman had apparently seen Shalon sit up and was now taking the news to someone.
I'm in the hospital,
she thought.
Moved to a private room.
A soldier peeked in, inspecting Shalon. It was apparently a guarded room. And I'm like, okay. Bit more info.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
She should be guarded because she was attacked, but also now we also know she is also a criminal. So.
Yeah.
What happened?
She called to him.
I was poisoned, wasn't I?
She felt a sudden shock of alarm.
Capsule, is he alright?
The guard just turned. I mean, first off, you know that there's no way that Yasna's gonna be trying to heal Capsule if she can.
Yeah, exactly.
So, outlook not so great.
Mm-hmm. Outlook not great, but maybe I think she would try because everybody else is there.
But also, he did fall in a hospital, so it's not like he couldn't have survived. There are people there who could have possibly done something.
Mm-hmm.
Stomach pump.
Mm-hmm.
The guard just turned back to his post. Shalon began to crawl out of bed, but he looked in again, glaring at her. She yelped despite herself, pulling up the sheet and settling back. She still wore one of the hospital robes, much like a soft bathing robe. How long had she been unconscious? Why was she...
The Soulcaster.
She realized.
I gave it back to Yasna.
The next half hour was one of the most miserable in Shalon's life. She spent it suffering the periodic glares of the guard and feeling nauseated. What had happened? Finally, Yasna appeared at the other end of the hallway. Oh, I was so excited for this. You have no idea. It's one of the most exciting things in the book thus far for me.
Just the reaming out, the listen here.
Yep.
Full of crap child. Yeah.
The drama. What's she gonna say? How's she gonna react? Is she gonna lie? She was wearing a different dress, black with light gray piping. She strode toward the room like an arrow and dismissed the guard with a single word as she passed. The man hurried away, his boots louder on the stone floor than Yasna's slippers. Yasna came in, and though she made no accusation, her glare was so hostile that Shalon wanted to crawl under her covers and hide. No, she wanted to crawl under the bed, dig down into the floor itself, and put stone between herself and those eyes. So dramatic.
As she should.
As she should.
She needs to, yeah, she should feel that much shame. There you go.
Yep. You could have asked Shalon for help. You could have been like, hey, my family's not doing great right now. We're a bit strapped for cash.
Advice?
Any advice? Maybe you could start paying me to be your ward or something? And that might not work out, but you know.
Something.
Because it was so clear that Yasna liked Shalon so much. I bet Shalon, who is manipulative, who is a liar, had said something like, my family's not doing well. I need to return home and help them get their finances in order. She'd have been like, okay, I'm going to try and help you somehow.
It's certainly more beneficial than stealing from her.
Yeah. Anyway, she settled for looking downward in shame.
You were wise to return the Soulcaster.
Yasna said, voice like ice.
It saved your life. I saved your life. Thank you.
Shalon whispered.
Who are you working with? Which devotary bribed you to steal the Fabrial? None of them, Brightness. I stole it of my own volition. Protecting them does you no good. Eventually you will tell me the truth. It is the truth.
Shalon said, looking up, feeling a hint of defiance.
It's why I became your ward in the first place. To steal the Soulcaster. Yes, but for whom? For me.
Shalon said, and already I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want. Interrogation. Answers.
Yeah.
I mean, no real answers, but, like, it's great.
Just a conversation, having them speak about this thing that has been a secret for so long.
Yeah, it's not like one of those things where you want them to say something and then for whatever reason the author like dances around the topic for a long time. No, she gets straight to the point and I'm here for it.
Yeah, otherwise it would be way too frustrating. This is that's it. We have no time for messing around and approaching the topic lightly. Is it so hard to believe that I could act for myself? Am I such a miserable failure that the only rational answer is to assume I was duped or manipulated? You have no grounds to raise your voice to me, child.
Yasna said evenly.
And you have every reason to remember your place.
Shalon looked down again. Yasna was silent for a time. Finally she sighed.
What were you thinking, child?
I loved it. There's that small bit of empathy there. She cared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she would have cared. You see, she would have, like, you know, this is how much she actually did care. But I guess Shalon is not going to be really assuming that that's how much Yasna cared. But now she finds out, obviously, too late.
Yep.
My father is dead. So? Sorry. Wow. Yasna, calm down. But
Shalon,
I mean, she's
doesn't get empathy right now.
No, yeah, she's not gonna get, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I think it's true. It's funny, and I think that's the best response. So, explain further. Yes, so? He was not well liked, Brightness. Actually, he was hated, and our family is bankrupt. My brothers are trying to put up a strong front by pretending he still lives, but...
Dared she tell Yasna that her father had possessed a soulcaster? Doing so wouldn't help excuse what Shalon had done and might get her family more deeply into trouble. Now that's actually the one thing. There's no talk of Shalon's soulcaster in this chapter at all. And like by the end of it, I was going to wait till the end of it to say it, but I'll say it now. It's like, is she going to get her soulcaster back? Doesn't Yasna want to know where that came from? Does she think it's a toy because it's broken and won't work? Or does she realize that it's real and broken? These are answers that I wish had been answered in this chapter.
Well, they need to be. There needs to be some sort of thing. And if I was Yasna, I wouldn't really believe her if she said, oh, I just got it made or something. I would believe there's something more. But then again, she would be like, oh, I've terrified this child so much. Of course she's telling me the truth now. No. And
don't trust Shalon. But beyond that, Shalon could even lie and say, that was my soulcaster. I brought it from home.
But that's the thing, though. The soulcaster thing, the fact that they have one and they were using it the way they were beforehand, is a huge, huge problem to have exposed. So she's making the decision right now not to tell about the
Yeah.
family trouble. Which is just, considering how lying has helped up until now, I don't think this is going to go well.
Yeah, I really think Shalon should have been fully honest here.
Yeah?
Dared she tell Yesna that her father had possessed a soulcaster? Doing so wouldn't help
Yes.
excuse what Shalon had done, and might get her family
Yeah.
more deeply into trouble.
We needed something. An edge. A way to earn money quickly. Or create money.
Yasna was silent again. When she finally spoke, she sounded faintly amused.
You thought your salvation lay in enraging not only the entire Ardentia, but Alethkar? Do you realize what my brother would have done if he'd learned of this?
Shalon looked away, feeling both foolish and ashamed. Yasna sighed.
It really is. Sorry, it is just when you say it out loud, yes, that's what she thought she should do. That was the plan.
Yep.
And yeah, okay, so that line then makes me think maybe she shouldn't be truthful about her family. But she's talking about what her brother would have done if he found out, not her. So I think she still would have helped Shalon.
Yeah. Yasna sighed.
Sometimes I forget how young you are. I can see how the theft might have looked tempting to you. It was stupid nonetheless. I've arranged passage back to Yakoved. You will leave in the morning.
Yeah, that is so freaking generous of Yasna.
Yes.
She must have really, really liked Shalon, and I think she did.
Yeah, and she does have the sympathy of this, like, she's young, it's fine. I mean, Yasna herself is this heretic. What kind of youth did she have?
It was more than she deserved.
Thank you. Your friend, the Ardent, is dead.
Oh no. Anyway. Shalon looked up, dismayed.
What happened? The bread was poisoned. Backbreaker powder.
Kitte called it!
The bread was poisoned. Backbreaker powder. Very lethal. Dusted over the bread to look like flour. I suspect the bread was similarly treated every time he visited. His goal was to get me to eat a piece. But I ate a lot of that bread.
Remember the time they ate truthberry jam and she was feeling lightheaded?
Was that the truthberry jam, or she had too much bread?
Or the drugs. The drugs.
The jam had the antidote.
Yasna said.
We found it in several empty jars he'd used. It can't be.
I have to wonder a handful of different things. I wondered if Cabsol was betrayed. That was a big wonder that I had. And then I wondered, why didn't the cure work? Is it because strawberries are Shin? We know that magic is less powerful, or at least the Spren are less present in Shinovar than they are elsewhere. So I wondered if maybe there's something almost anti-magical, or if there's just something in strawberries specifically that doesn't mix with whatever the cure to the backbreaker powder is.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah, because it was a
didn't
rare
have enough.
jam. That was like the big new thing.
Yeah, but also that there is what Yasna thinks here as well, is that this was like an extra high dose. It was his last chance.
Or
so
that.
that's why he would have had to have more jam. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
The jam had the antidote. We found it in several empty jars he'd used. It can't be. I've begun investigating. I should have done so immediately. Nobody quite remembers where this capsule came from. Though he spoke familiarly of the other Ardents to you and me, they knew him only vaguely. Then he was playing you, child. The whole time, he was using you to get to me, to spy on what I was doing, to kill me if he could. I think he might have liked her.
I agree.
Anyway, I think he did like her. He was there. It's like, yeah, he was on a mission and he actually landed up liking the mark. Or what?
I agree.
The person close to the mark, yeah.
I guess we'll never know for certain, though.
R.I.P.
She spoke of it so evenly, so emotionlessly.
I believe he used much more of the powder during the last attempt, more than he ever used before. perhaps hoping to get me to breathe it in. He realized this would be his last opportunity. It turned against him, however, working more quickly than he'd anticipated.
Someone had almost killed her. Not someone. Cabsol. No wonder he'd been so eager to get her to taste the jam.
Yeah, he wants her to stay alive. He can kill her.
Precisely.
He'll keep her alive. Like, yeah, if he didn't give a shit about her, then why would he try and save her?
Yeah.
I guess, okay, yes, then it just looks more suspicious if 2 people die compared to 1, but still.
And hey, it's nice to know that Yasna does know how to investigate things.
Mm-hmm. I'm very disappointed in you, Shalon.
Yasna said.
I can see now why you've tried to end your own life. It was the guilt.
She hadn't tried to kill herself, but what good would it do to admit that? Yasna was taking pity on her. Best not to give her a reason not to. But what of the strange things Shalon had seen and experienced? Might Yasna have an explanation for them? Looking at Yasna,
she probably would, but yeah, she's scared. She's not gonna let all. Like, she doesn't know what the reaction will be.
Yeah, look, maybe Shalon could get out of it again through further lies by being like, I've had the Soulcaster for like 3 weeks now, and I didn't leave. I was really conflicted. Your supposition about unaliving was right. I wasn't going to go through with it. Please forgive me. But she does not. And I think
she's just taking what she can get right now.
Yeah, it's for the best. She's emotional
it.
too now in this moment. Understandably so. Looking at Yasna, seeing the cold rage hidden behind her calm exterior, frightened Shalon enough that her questions about the symbol heads and the strange place she'd visited died on her lips. How had Shalon ever thought of herself as brave? She wasn't brave, she was a fool. She remembered the times her father's rage had echoed through the house. Yasna's quieter, more justified anger was no less daunting.
Well, you will need to learn to live with your guilt,
Yasna said.
You might not have escaped with my Fabrial, but you have thrown away a very promising career. This foolish scheme will stain your life for decades. No woman will take you as a ward now. You threw it away.
She shook her head in distaste.
I hate being wrong.
Ooh. With that, she turns to leave. What?
Sorry, Shalon, you had so much promise, and having somebody, it's kind of like, she's not saying she's not mad. She is mad, but I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, but on steroids, essentially. It's
Yeah. With that, she turned to leave. Shalon raised a hand.
I have to apologize. I have to say something. Yasna?
The woman did not look back, and the guard did not return. Shalon curled up under the sheets, stomach in knots, feeling so sick that, for a moment, she wished that she'd actually dug that shard of glass in a little deeper. That was dark.
For her, yeah, very much. Kaladin's walking around with that all over the place, but this is new territory for her.
Yeah. Or maybe that Yasna hadn't been quick enough with the Soulcaster to save her. She'd lost it all. No Fabrial to protect her family, no wardship to continue her studies, no Cabsol. She'd never actually had him in the first place. Her tears dampened the sheets as the sunlight outside faded, then vanished. Nobody came to check on her. Nobody cared.
Yeah, she's going through a dark time, and I'm hoping it will help her grow.
Yeah, me too. And again, I have to wonder, will she get her Soulcaster back?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Here, take your other possessions, and the thing that you duped me with. Nope.
I'm wondering if it's going to be one of those things where Yasna's like, this is the last time you will ever see me again, type of a thing, and she'll just like refuse to grant her an audience from now on.
Yeah, this is the last time you will see my face.
And now we get into 51, yes? Which is a blind for me. Sasnan. 1 year ago. Kaladin sat quietly in the waiting room of Amaram's wooden war center. Okay, I'm wondering if this is going to be the one where Amaram sells him into slavery. Yep. It was constructed of a dozen sturdy sections that could be disconnected and pulled by chulls. Kaladin sat beside a window looking out at the camp. There was a hole where Kaladin's squad had been housed. He could make it out from where he sat. Their tents had been broken down and given to other squads. 4 of his men remained. 4 out of 26. And men called him lucky. Men called him storm-blessed. He'd begun to believe that. Oof.
Yeah, that is devastating. And they've taken down the tents and everything. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there being reminded, oh yeah, that's how many died. They're all gone. Hasn't been part of taking the tents down and all of that. He's been in this war center thing. It's hardly hit him, really.
Yeah. They've dissolved the squad, and 4 of 26 is very, very small, very devastating, and I'm wondering if this is the first of him starting to resent being called lucky. I killed a shard bearer today, he thought, mind numb. Like Lannison, the sure-footed, or Evid Markmaker. Me. I killed one. And he didn't care.
For me, here, they've got like these hero names, right? Lannison, the sure-footed, Evad the Markmaker, or Evad Markmaker. It's like, we didn't have those examples when people were talking about killing shard bearers and becoming light eyes. We just had that kind of vague idea. But here, we've got actual like stories, it seems, like lore that they remember about certain legends that they have.
Almost
so
like
he's
folk
like,
tales.
oh, I just became... Yeah. He's become a legend. So me, I killed one, and then just say again the line.
And he didn't care.
It's like, yeah, so you just became a freaking hero. You made history, but you don't care.
Well, he lost a lot of people.
But he's supposed to take the glory. Those people probably also lost a lot of people. But it's that they were supposed to swallow that and take the glory.
Yeah. Still mad at him for giving up the blade. Should have taken it. He crossed his arms on the wooden windowsill. There was no glass in the window and he could feel the breeze. A windspren flitted from one tent to another. Windspren!
It's Sel, before she knew herself.
Yeah. Behind Kaladin, the room had a thick red rug and shields on the wall. There were a number of padded wooden chairs, like the one Kaladin sat in. This was the small waiting chamber of the war center. Small, yet larger than his entire house back in Hearthstone, the surgery included. I killed a shard bearer, he thought again, and then I gave away the blade and plate. That single event had to be the most monumentally stupid thing anyone in any kingdom in any era had ever done. Yes! Yes, Kaladin!
Yes, Kaladin. He's like, he understands how stupid it is, but somehow he still did it.
Yeah. Could have sold it. Could have taken it, could have sold it, bought a kingdom. As a shard bearer, Kaladin would have been more important than Rashon. More important than Amaram. He'd have been able to go to the Shattered Plains and fight in a real war. And how well do you trust the guy that you ended up giving it to?
Well, clearly he does. He loves his men. He's given up this glory for his men.
Yep.
Because of his men. So clearly he does trust them with his life. With everything.
No more squabbling over borders. No more petty light-eyed captains belonging to unimportant families, bitter because they'd been left behind. He would never again have had to worry about blisters from boots that didn't fit, dinner slop that tasted of creme, or other soldiers who wanted to pick a fight. He could have been rich. He'd given it all away, just like that. And still...
Look, the thought of the way he says, like, obviously his life would have been vastly improved. But considering what we know is happening on the Shattered Plains, it's just a different kind of struggle. It's a lot more comfortable, but there's all kinds of struggles. Yes, your boots fit, but you know what? Everybody's out to get you. Everybody wants what you have. It's difficult. So it's lovely that you think that everything would be fine and you would just have a great life forevermore. But just think about what Dalinar is going through, and what Sadeas is going through, and what everyone in the Shattered Plains is going through.
I don't know. Money can solve a lot of problems. Not all of them.
I would prefer to have those struggles, yeah, than what he has.
He could have been rich. He'd given it all away just like that. And still, the mere thought of touching that blade turned his stomach. He didn't want wealth, titles, armies, or even a good meal. He wanted to be able to go back and protect the men who had trusted him. Why had he chased after the Shardbearer? He should have run. But no, he'd insisted on charging at a storming Shardbearer. You protected your High Marshal, he told himself. You're a hero. Yeah, that's admirable, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's what you were. Well, but also he had this rage. Like this, that was the one he's looking for, the one really, and then it's just like he didn't really have much more than just I want to fight. That's it. It's just a natural thing for him to do. I don't think of Kaladin as ever running away.
Yeah, agreed. But why was Amaram's life worth more than those of his men? Kaladin served Amaram because of the honor he had shown. He let spearmen share his comfort in the war center during high storms, a different squad each storm. He insisted that his men be well fed and well paid. He didn't treat them like slime. He did let his subordinates do so, though, and he'd broken his promise to shelter Tien. So...
He's not perfect.
No, but no one is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also letting your subordinates do so, that's not right. That's kind of false. That's like your principles don't... What kind of leader are you? You should expect goodness from your subordinates. Your subordinates should be held to the standard you hold yourself. Yeah. Why let them do those things? If I am a leader and I have certain standards, why should I let my subordinates do whatever the hell they want?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that is quite a big deal.
It sounds like he's reasonably well-intentioned, just not perhaps the best leader or the best delegator, or there is something culturally not great about how they interact with each other.
Yeah, he can't instill value in his subordinates. He can only do his best from where he stands.
Yeah, but then I think of what Sadeas said about Dalinar's men being like mini Dalinars, and how that their leader affects the men under them, which seems poignant here as well. He did let his subordinates do so, though, and he'd broken his promise to shelter Tien. So did I. Kaladin's insides were a twisted mess of guilt and sorrow. One thing remained clear, like a bright spot of light on the wall of a dark room. He wanted nothing to do with those shards. He didn't even want to touch them. The door thumped open, and Kaladin turned in his chair. Amaram entered, tall, lean, with a square face and long martial coat of deep green. This is going to be where he sells them, and I'm dreading it. I don't want to read any further. He walked on a crutch. Kaladin eyed the wrappings and Splint with a critical eye. I could have done it better. He'd also have insisted that the patient remain in bed. Amaram was talking to one of his storm wardens, a middle-aged man with a square beard and robes of deep black. Thadakar! Oh, well, that's convenient for what I said earlier. Kitty, you knew when I started listing that.
No, I didn't. I just read words, names, and I'm like, yeah.
It's been a really long time since we heard that name.
Yeah, so I did not know.
Why Thadakar would risk this, Amaram was saying, speaking in a soft voice. But who else would it be? The ghost bloods grow more bold. We'll need to find out who he was. Do we know anything about him? Ghost Bloods is a new name, and I wonder if they're talking about the Shardbearer that was killed.
Yeah, they are talking about, do we know anything about him, is about the Shardbearer. Now I'm just thinking, Amaram is not much of a high lord, okay? He's not the greatest of light eyes. He's a sideshow guy, okay? And if we go back to Gavilar's death, right? Not Gavilar's death. The assassination. Thadakar. How do you say this name? Thadakar? Thadakar. So Thadakar was the first person he thought of as the assassin. Yes. Yeah, Thadakar. And the first person he thought of as an assassin. Now, I would think that if he had remained in the power he was in at that time, I think he would be too high up to be giving a crap about Amaram. So maybe he has kind of fallen away a little bit, so that his enemy is the caliber of Amaram now. That's what I'm just trying to think of. Why would Thydakar, whatever, be messing with Amaram if the first thing the king thought was it was him as an assassin? So just think about it.
He was Vedin, Bright Lord, the Storm Warden said. Nobody I recognize, but I will investigate. Amaram nodded, falling silent. Behind the two, a group of light-eyed officers entered, one of them carrying the shard blade, holding it on a pure white cloth. Behind this group came the 4 surviving members of Kaladin's squad, Hob, Reesh, Alabet, and Koreb. Koreb, you better be, bowing and scraping to Kaladin for giving that thing to you, although it sounds like no one has taken it yet, officially.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. It's not like he went straight up and took it after he said give it to Koreb.
Although, hell, if someone said that to me, I'm grabbing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kaladin stood up, feeling exhausted. Amaram remained by the door, arms folded as 2 final men entered and closed the door. These last 2 were also light eyes, but lesser ones, officers in Amaram's personal guard. Had these been among those who had fled? It was the smart thing to do, Kaladin thought. Smarter than what I did. Yeah, perhaps.
We've got twisted insides that we got from Shalon in the previous chapter, and twisted insides now from
Kaladin.
What Kaladin is feeling. Shalon did something very, very stupid. He thinks he also did something really, really stupid. The
Good
comparisons continue.
Observation. Amaram leaned on his walking staff, inspecting Kaladin with bright tan eyes. He'd been in conference with his counselors for several hours now, trying to discover who the shard-bearer had been. You did a brave thing today, soldier, Amaram said to Kaladin. What did you say to that? I wish I'd left you to die, sir. He thinks to himself. Thank you. Everyone else fled, including my honor guard. The 2 men closest to the door looked down, ashamed. But you charged in for the attack. Why? I didn't really think about it, sir. Amaram seemed displeased by the answer. Your name is Kaladin, is it? Yes, Bright Lord. From Hearthstone, remember? That I did clue into that when I was first reading that, but I wanted to finish that exchange. Amaram doesn't even know who he is.
Yep. So I was kind of, what? I thought that they had more of a relationship. Considering the way that Kaladin thinks of him, as he's so honorable and whatever, and there was a bit of a problem with Tien, and and they both have feelings about it. This was a revelation to me.
You promised to make Tien a runner boy for a couple of years, and you have no idea. If you don't know Kaladin, you don't know Tien. Amaram frowned, looking confused. Your cousin Roshon is city lord there. He sent my brother into the army when you came recruiting. I joined with my brother. Ah, yes, Amaram said. I believe I remember you. He didn't ask after Tien. Liking Amaram less and less?
Does that mean he knows? Does this mean he knows not to ask about Tien because he knows what actually happened to Tien, or did he just forget?
Yeah.
Either way, it's shit.
You still haven't answered my question. Why attack? It wasn't for the shard blade. You rejected that. So it sounds like they're not here to offer it back to him.
Nope.
Yes, sir. To the side, the Storm Warden raised his eyebrows, as if he hadn't believed that Kaladin had turned down the shards. The soldier holding the shard blade kept glancing at it in awe. Why? Amaram said. Why did you reject it? I have to know. I don't want it, sir. Yes, but why? Because it would make me one of you. Because I can't look at that weapon and not see the faces of the men its wielder slaughtered so offhandedly. Well, that second thing you should say, Kaladin.
Yeah, he can say that. I also thought so.
Yeah, the first one maybe not, but the second, yeah.
No, don't do that, yeah.
Because I can't really answer that, sir, Kaladin said, sighing. Storm Warden walked over to the room's brazier, shaking his head. He began warming his hands. Look, Kaladin said. Those shards are mine. Well, I said to give them to Koreb. He's the highest ranked of my soldiers and the best fighter among them. The other 3 would understand. Besides, Koreb would take care of them once he was a Light Eyes. Okay, well, at least we know why he picked Koreb, and I am so grateful to know that. That is good info right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to remember, like, we're used to Kaladin having men
Loyal
that
to him?
are they're in the in the bridge crew, right? So these people are in and out. They're new-ish. You know, they haven't been together very long. In this army, it's a different story.
It's been 4 years, almost.
Yeah, he knows these people a lot better than we have in our minds with the bridge crew. So it's not as mysterious. This is his brother, essentially, like a brother in arms, and it's a good soldier as well. And he knows him so well that he knows that if Korra were to become a Light Eyes, he would take care of the squad.
Mm-hmm. Amaram looked at Koreb, then nodded to his attendants. One closed the window shutters. The others pulled out swords, then began moving toward the 4 remaining members of Kaladin's squad. Oh no. Ooh. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're going to kill them, why sell Kaladin into slavery?
Mm-hmm.
Why not finish the job?
Why indeed?
It wouldn't be as a warning. If I were Amaram and I were of a mind to take the shard blade for myself, if I were Amaram, I would be of a mind to take the shard blade for myself, and that would necessitate killing everyone who knew the circumstance around who actually should have had it. So Kaladin needs to die. Here.
I actually think even the Storm Warden has to die.
Yep, the Honor Guard.
Those soldiers. So once he has the shard blade, yeah, or the Honor Guard, everyone's got to die. Everyone who saw it.
Why didn't Amaram take it, though? Like, if he could, why couldn't he just reach over and grip it?
I think it's by rights. It's a kind of, there's a bit of more bureaucracy around it, I suppose.
Kaladin yelled, leaping forward, but 2 of the officers had positioned themselves close to him. One slammed a punch into Kaladin's gut as soon as he started moving. He was so surprised that it connected directly, and he gasped. No! He fought off the pain, turning to swing at the man. The man's eyes opened wide as Kaladin's fist connected, throwing him backward. Several other men piled on him. He had no weapons, and he was so tired from the battle that he could barely stay upright. They knocked him to the ground with punches to his side and back. He collapsed to the floor, pained, but still able to watch as the soldiers came at his men. Rish was cut down first. Kaladin gasped, stretching out a hand, struggling to his knees. This seems a bit needlessly showy, Amaram. Separate them and do this all solo.
Mm-hmm.
Why bring the thing?
Well, if you know you're gonna sell Kaladin into slavery, then scare him by killing, because you don't know Kaladin. You don't know what kind of guy he is, so you think by killing his friends in front of him, maybe that will make him scared.
Yeah, but why send someone out into the world scared when you can just kill him in the first place? Like, unless Amaram thinks that killing the squad means Kaladin's the only one left to take the blade, does Amaram want Kaladin to take the blade? Would it reflect poorly on Amaram not to make Kaladin take the blade because no one has ever turned it down before? This can't happen. Please, no! Hab and Alabet had their knives out, but fell quickly, one soldier gutting Hab as the 2 others hacked down Alabet. Alabet's knife thumped as it hit the ground, followed by his arm, then finally his corpse. Yeah.
Jeez, that's gruesome. So gruesome. Like, a whole arm just gets chopped off. Ugh.
Koreb lasted the longest, backing away, hands held forward. He didn't scream. He seemed to understand. Kaladin's eyes were watering, and soldiers grabbed him from behind, stopping him from helping. Koreb fell to his knees and began to beg. One of Amaram's men took him at the neck, neatly severing his head. It was over in seconds. "You bastard!" Kaladin said, gasping against his pain. "You storming bastard!" Kaladin found himself weeping, struggling uselessly at the 4 men holding him. The blood of the fallen spearmen soaked the boards. They were dead. All of them were dead. Stormfather, all of them! How was this chapter not recommended as a blind in the first place, by the way? Amaram stepped forward, expression grim. He went down on one knee before Kaladin. I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Look, he said he's sorry, Dorkus. What do you want?
No, but what's with the one knee thing? Okay. Maybe someone...
'Cause he's down.
Yeah.
He's on the floor.
Maybe someone's controlling Amaram. Like, who's above Amaram that could order this? What was that line about Thadakar? Why would Thadakar risk this? I presumed that meant Thadakar was the one that sent the shard bearer to attack that army, not that Thadakar is ordering Amaram to let Kaladin live. But that it could be that. No.
Why would that even cross the... Amaram doesn't even know who Kaladin is. Yeah, why would it cross any of their minds to control?
Yeah, and I go back to see that Amaram continues, but who else would it be? So I'm pretty sure it is that Thadakar sent the Shardbearer in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Bastard! Kaladin screamed as loud as he could. I couldn't risk them telling what they saw. This is what must be, soldier. It's for the good of the army. They're going to be told that your squad helped the Shardbearer. You see, the men must believe that I killed him. Yep, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously. Okay, so clearly Amaram's doing this so he could have it. Great. But why let Kaladin live? You're taking the shards for yourself! I am trained in the sword, Amaram said, and am accustomed to plate. It will serve Alethkar best if I bear the shards. You could have asked me for them! Storm you!
Okay.
No, Again, I can get Amaram doing this, although I would have done them all off individually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why sell Kaladin? Is Syl gonna save him in some way that he doesn't realize? Does Amaram think he needs someone who saw what happened? Is he gonna try to convince... There's no convincing Kaladin to lend truth to the lie that Amaram wants to sell after killing his men in front of him.
Yeah.
You could have asked me for them! Storm you! And when news got around camp, Amaram said grimly, that you'd killed the shard-bearer, but I had the shards, nobody would believe that you'd given them up for your own free choice. Besides, son, okay, well, if that's why he lets him go, he just thinks no one's gonna believe him. No, kill the guy! Kaladin. Kill Kaladin. Besides, son, you wouldn't have let me keep them. Amaram shook his head. You'd have changed your mind. In a day or two, you'd have wanted the wealth and prestige. Others would convince you of it. You'd have demanded that I returned them to you. It took hours to decide, but Restares is right. This is what must be done for the good of Alethkar. Restares is another person that Gavilar wondered about in terms of orchestrating the assassination. So that's noteworthy.
Well, then Restares is right. That sounds like the Storm Warden then.
Was it the Storm Warden?
Well, I don't know who said... No, we haven't had anyone say this is what must be done for the good of Alethkar. So, I don't know. Somebody has said this to him. I don't know. Why would... It doesn't make sense that Dalinar would think of the Storm Warden as doing this, though.
No. Yeah.
Oh, Gavilar.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that Gavilar would think of a Storm Warden. That doesn't make sense. So Restares must be an ally or something.
It's not about Alethkar, it's about you! Storm it, you're supposed to be better than the others! Tears dripped down Kaladin's chin. Amaram looked guilty suddenly, as if he knew what Kaladin had said was true. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
He turned away, waving to the Storm Warden. The man turned from the brazier, holding something he'd been heating in the coals, a small branding iron. Okay. Just kill the guy. Why let him Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you saw that coming. You're gonna get it.
It's all an act? Kaladin asked. The honorable Bright Lord who cares about his men? Lies? All of it? This is for my men, Amaram said. He took the shard blade from the cloth, holding it in his hand. The gemstone at its pommel let out a flash of white light. You can't begin to understand the weights I carry, spearman. Amaram's voice lost some of its calm tone of reason. He sounded defensive. I can't worry about the lives of a few dark-eyed spearmen when thousands of people may be saved by my decision. The Storm Warden stepped up to Kaladin, positioning the branding iron. The glyphs reversed read Sas Nan, a slave's brand. You came for me, Amaram said, limping to the door, stepping around Rish's body. For saving my life, I spare yours. 5 men telling the same story would have been believed, but a single slave will be ignored. The war camp will be told that you didn't try to help your fellows, but you didn't try to stop them either. You fled and were captured by my guard. Okay, so Amaram is trying to do a nice thing. I don't think you needed to enslave him over it. You could have just been like, your term is over, you're honorably discharged. No one you tell will believe you. Now leave. You didn't have to do the slave thing. I get it.
I don't know about the honorably discharged. Maybe is too much. Honorably discharged, like, gives him a bit too much power. He still has some sort of standing.
I mean,
you know, making him a slave is like the bare minimum. You're alive. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, his term of enlistment would be up in a couple of weeks, I think it was. So it could just be like, you're not allowed to re-enlist. Go home, Kaladin. No one will believe you if you tell the truth.
Yeah, but he could still find someone to believe him if he becomes unpersoned here. He's alive, but he's a slave, so he is no threat.
Yeah.
So you've been saying, why not kill him? Why not kill him? Well, this is essentially it's the closest you can get without killing him, because he's nothing now. So he really should be neutralized by being a slave. He should be.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason for him to think this man's gonna make it back from this. He's literally getting it branded into him that he is a slave.
Amaram hesitated by the door, resting the blunt edge of the stolen shard blade on his shoulder. The guilt was still there in his eyes, but he grew hard, covering it. You are being discharged as a deserter and branded as a slave, but you are spared death by my mercy. He opened the door and walked out. The branding iron fell, searing Kaladin's fate into his skin. He let out a final, ragged scream. The end of part 3. Woo!
Yep. So this guy is such a complex character, this Amaran dude. He thinks he's quite, oh, look at me, I'm merciful. You're alive by my mercy.
Yeah.
Like, he still gets to live with himself.
I've got to sit with that one, but that was quite an ending. Yeah, Amaram is conflicted, but is as bad, and definitely,
as the rest
we're
of
gonna
them.
get more of Amaram in the future, I expect. I hope there's a confrontation. I'm wondering if he's gonna try and hunt down Amaram at some point in the future with his storm sorcery powers. That'll be fun.
Or will he just come across him?
Yeah.
Because I don't want Kaladin obsessed with that. I want him to have overcome it.
Yeah. I wonder what Amaram is going to make of himself from then on. Because having that blade and plate, if it was indeed plate, shard plate, I think it was, it elevates his status considerably.
Yep. So it makes it more likely that we will encounter him around the Shattered Plains.
Yeah.
Eventually. And there is that underlying stuff that you've picked up about him talking about those other possible assassins. What does that mean? Like, those are real signals that need to be kept in mind.
And while we're on the topics of reunions, it's not quite a reunion, but what I really, really, really want in this book is the meeting between Kaladin and Dalinar, and I want to see Kaladin just lay into Dalinar in a cathartic way, and I want to feel righteous fury for Kaladin, and I want to feel bad for Dalinar, who gets the brunt end of it. I hope we get that.
At some point. That is the end of part 3. And we have interludes incoming.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining Kite. I tremendously enjoy doing this series with you.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.